Coming up right now, a man is all shook up after promoting margaritas. We'll explain why his world was turned upside down.
Also coming up, El Nino is coming, and this weather event might send a chill down your spine, depending on where you live.
And later, Al Pacino is ordered to pay child support and then some to his current girlfriend. The question many are asking is, why are they still together?
Who knows?
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Everybody, I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I'm Matt Doolittle, and welcome to Daily Flash. No, Mitch English isn't here. Don't worry. He'll be back. He's on a special assignment. He's trying to find D.B. Cooper's money right now.
Okay,
out in the middle of Oregon. We sent him out there. He took the quest, so we'll see what he comes back
How's
with.
that going for him so far?
I haven't heard from him in about a week, so we'll see. I mean, good, bad, indifferent. Maybe he found the money and he's off. I don't know.
And we might never see him again,
Yeah.
which would be bad for us. But anyway, we'll check in with Mitch,
Yes.
hopefully. Matt, I know you're a big fan of Disney.
What? Yes.
Yeah, so I caught this headline on the New York Post the other day, and I had to read through this article because I didn't quite believe it. Disney theme park guests are now pooping while waiting in line for rides. Some of the rides take so long that people don't bother to go use the restroom. Instead, they find a little corner somewhere in the walkway. And Disney employees have confirmed this. They've nicknamed some areas Poop Hall.
Oh, man. Okay. I just did doing it on being a Disney adult a few weeks ago, so none of you apparently watched that. Okay, I will say this. Lines like Flight of Passage,
Yes.
they are very hard to navigate and get out of there if you have to go to do. It is very hard, and they don't have restrooms in all the lines, but come on. Like, this is too much.
So they interviewed, and this is happening at both parks, not just Disney World here, but Disneyland. And they're saying at Disney World, it's the Flight of the Resistance? No.
Flight of Passage or
Rise of the Resistance.
And both of them have extremely long queues. I get it, but they have exits, and if you find a cast member, they will allow you to come back if you're having an emergency,
Yeah,
and as long as you have another family member or friend waiting for you.
And they said they'll hold your place in line.
Yes, as long as you have somebody else there, they'll welcome you back.
Here's my question. And most everybody goes to the park with a family or a friend,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So there are very few people that go solo, but some do. But I'm thinking, if you're there with a family or a friend, wouldn't you say, hey, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
I mean, those popcorn buckets do cost a lot, so you might as well get a double use for them, right? They're kind of pricey. At least use one of those. I don't know. I wouldn't do that, but I mean, I've seen some bad behavior there, though. I mean, not by my group.
That crosses the line.
That is
altogether.
way too long. And those people, they're out in that sun making minimal money, even though they got a little bit of a raise. They don't want to be doing that. I worked at PacSun, and somebody did that in the dressing room. I quit on the spot.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We're an adult diaper. I don't know what you need to do, but that is outrageous. All right, moving on. A 28-year-old software engineer from San Francisco is busy slamming Dollaritas at an Applebee's when an earthquake shook the Bay Area, and his reaction has gone viral. Take a look.
I was just slamming some Dollaritas up at the Applebee's and with my friends, and it was a big shake. It was only like probably a couple seconds, but it was real. Everyone stopped talking. Yeah, it was heavy. It was a big one. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Steve Mazzari was stunned when he learned the quake registered as a 3.9, and when the earth stopped moving, Mazzari made it a point to turn to a camera and say, "Dollaritas are back!" Mazzari's viral stardom has caused his world to turn topsy-turvy. He said he had a good buzz from the drinks when he spoke to a news crew following the quake. However, it wasn't until he got home until he realized his liquid courage landed his face on screens everywhere. Mazzari said the reactions have been mostly positive, especially from women who want to meet him.
I mean, bro's gonna bro. I mean, that mustache just says Dollaritas all day. I had a buddy who was having a good night downtown. He got shot in his titanium knee brace and kept going through the night. And
What?
the cops were interviewing, or the news were interviewing somebody, and he's still in the back sipping. So I mean, when you're in party mode, you're in party mode.
This is true.
And if it's dollar margaritas, you know it's not good tequila. So the earth starts shaking a little quicker with those.
Applebee's, Dollaritas.
Applebee's, or was it Chili's with the
Chili's,
$5
yeah, there
all
you go.
night? All right, speaking of weather, the U.S. should expect some drastic weather conditions in the upcoming months as El Nino is expected to be especially strong this year. El Nino, which translates to little boy in Spanish, is caused by a shift in the distribution of warm water in the Pacific Ocean around the equator. The shift has a big impact on weather patterns around the globe, and this year's El Nino is expected to be one of the strongest since 2015, which saw the warmest U.S. winter on record. The new maps show that during strong El Nino seasons, the northern U.S. is usually drier, while the southern U.S. is typically wetter and snowier. New York City received less than 3 inches of snowfall last winter, a far cry from its average of 25 inches during the winter season. So the weather is still just all over the place. Like, we can't get a consistent, can we?
Here's the thing, the weather changes every year.
Doesn't it?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
a thing?
I don't know why it's breaking news. It's sort of like, okay, it's cold in the winter, yes, and it's hot in the summer.
And we just had our hottest summer on record, and now we're going to have the coldest winter, and then we're going to have a hot summer again.
Yeah. It's called Mother Nature.
It's called Mother Nature.
It
and
happens.
Just get some nice ponchos.
Yeah,
and,
there you go.
All seasons.
Well, this next story does involve an actual Nino because Al Pacino has been ordered to pay his girlfriend $30,000 a month in child support. A Los Angeles judge ruled that the Scarface star must pay $110,000 up front before he continues with those monthly payments.
Hooah!
But wait, there's more. He has to pay an additional $13,000 for a night nurse, cover any medical bills outside of health insurance coverage, and contribute $15,000 each year to an education fund. The judge also ruled the 83-year-old Pacino and his 29-year-old girlfriend will have joint legal custody. Pacino started dating Noor Alfallah, a producer at Sony, during the pandemic. Despite the two claiming they are still a couple, Alfallah filed for physical custody of their son back in September. Noor has been attached to a number of rich older men, including rock star Mick Jagger. I'm guessing he's 83. She's 29. Are they setting some legal boundaries here?
I would think so, and I mean, he's got to pay for his own night nurse at this point. So I mean, he's doubling up on that.
This is true.
I don't get what Al was thinking getting into this with it. And of course, if she's a production assistant or whatever on one of those movies, you know she was trying to get in with one of the stars. Oh, I'll get Mr. Pacino's coffee. I'll get him his bagel. Oh, how are you, Mr. Pacino? Hey, want to come back to my Star Wagon, baby? You know, like. That's just I don't understand why these older men get into these, because it's like the kid is the one that's going to suffer through all this, and the money to him is nothing.
And he's 83. You know, he might have 10 more years if he's lucky.
If he's lucky, what's he going to do? I mean, what is he going to do with a little kid running around? The kid's never going to know his father except for all the Godfather reruns and Scarface.
She's getting herself set up, though.
Yo, she's set for life. I mean, they replay all those movies, and I'm sure she's going to get some of that money going, and the kids are. I mean, that's just crazy. All right, well, in May of 2012, radio personality Robin Quivers started feeling unusually tired, which for her is different. She later found out that she had a grapefruit-sized mass in her pelvic area. Quivers was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Following the surgery, Quivers began a grueling 15 months of radiation and chemotherapy. Quivers was cancer-free for more than 3 years when she relapsed in December of 2016. Doctors discovered Robin's cancer had returned, this time in her lymph nodes. An estimated 66,000 women are diagnosed with uterine cancer every year. We here at KSA Entertainment wish Robin the best of luck and pray for a complete recovery. Peace and love, peace and love. And you know, I'm a huge Stern fan. I've been listening since I was allowed to, probably before I was allowed to. And to hear her journey and when this started, you could tell something was going on the air, but you weren't really sure. And they used to have a full TV production there, and they stopped cutting to her booth. And when they would have guests come in, they would say, hey, don't reference that Robin's not here. But there was one guest, I forget who it was, that said, and I'm sorry, Robin's not here. And you were all of a sudden like, wait a minute. And this was before the pandemic. She was broadcasting from home, but she never missed one of their shows.
Wow.
And now they've had a reduced schedule. They do 3 shows a week, and they don't, you know, it's not as big as the show used to be. But you could tell, but she worked the entire time going through all of that therapy and all of this. And even last week they were talking about when she finally decided to, you know, finally shave her head, because the clips they would show, she'd be wearing a wig. Still never missed a day when it relapsed and everything. I mean, she's just an amazing person.
Yeah, it's probably good for her mental health just to be able to go to work and show up and keep your mind off of all of the cancer treatments and the progress and the process that she has to go through and what her body has to go through.
Well, and she said she didn't, they were like, well, why didn't you let people know on the air? Because she's like, the last thing I wanted was all these at-home doctors calling me, giving me remedies. Now, obviously, she's a person of means, and Howard has connections, and she does too, so she got the best medical treatment treatment, care in the world. But the thing she wanted people to really know is that, you know, even though you're going through all this, you can still keep working. You can still keep pushing. Granted, her job's she's not a construction worker. She just has to talk, but she had to keep her voice going and stay up to date on stuff and have that energy. The energy to do a 4-hour radio show is really tough. So I commend her.
And also, I'm sure she didn't want the attention to come off of the show and onto her, because she seems like she's a somewhat private person.
They're both very private now in their older ages. Like we just found out Howard was a grandfather for the last 3 years, a couple months ago. So they've been very quiet with that. But it was great.
Well,
Robin,
we wish her a speedy recovery. Stay with us. More trending news and entertainment is on the way.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Matt Doolittle, and I'm feeling a little hungry, and it's all because of the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphins Food and Wine Classic. It's the time of year when my taste buds just start jumping, and I hear the classic calling me everywhere. Did you hear that? Yeah, it's calling you too. Joining us to talk about it is Luciano Spirito, Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin, Director of Food and Beverage. Woo! Tell us about the Food and Wine Classic. I am so stoked for this.
Well, I love your excitement. So we love that. So that's great. So it's our 14th year this year. We're really excited. It is bigger and better than ever. We have over 85 beverage booths, which is going to give you over 200 selections for beverage, from wine to beer to certain spirits. A lot of local or hyper local selected items, especially from a beer standpoint. And then we have 27 food booths, which each night, most of those booths are going to have different options if they're not in a themed area. So it really gives the guest a great opportunity to try different things over the course of 2 nights if they come on both nights.
So overall, you know, kind of what are the flavors people can expect from an event like this? Because sometimes there's an overall theme, but is it kind of a mix of everything, or what should we expect out there?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's one of the things I talk to our team about a lot, which is we're always pushing to try and do something new. We have different themed areas that we add every year. This year, one of our new areas is called For the Love of Florida. So it's going to have, we're using local farmers. We have 4 stations that really center on locally infused food items. And then, of course, as I mentioned, those hyper-local breweries and some local distilleries that we'll have in that area. And then that area also has its own entertainment. We also have a Chinatown area, which will have entertainment, as well as one of our other new areas is called the Rosé Room, which will be all things rosé, still, sparkling. We'll have some food in there, and we really try and have the guests become like engulfed in when they enter those types of themed areas, and really have a lot of fun with it. So it's a chance for us to get creative.
It sounds like a lot of engulfing is going to be going on there. Now, how long has this event been going on? I think I went a few years ago, but I know it's been going on for a little bit.
Yeah, it's 14th year that we've been doing the Food and Wine Classic. So extremely proud, and one of the things we're really proud about is our entire team really gets behind it, and we're the ones sort of putting the whole thing together, especially from a culinary standpoint. Our culinary team is making all the food here on property.
And another quick question, like when you guys are putting the menu together, is it a collaborative effort? Like, are you guys mixing and matching, or do you kind of set the tone and have them go off of that?
I am fortunate to have an amazing team. We've worked together for a very long time. So we get together, it's very collaborative, and we'll start planning essentially the Monday after the Food and Wine Classic ends this weekend for next year, and talk about sort of, what we liked, what we didn't like, and start talking about menu items. So it's an entire year process, but yeah, it's a team effort, 100%.
That's awesome. And this year, the event wanted to do something special for veterans, because usually this is on Veterans Day weekend, and team up with your friends of the Fisher House. What does the organization do, and how did that relationship come about?
Yeah, so as I was saying, everything's a collaborative effort. So we spoke with the team, and we knew that the event fell on Veterans Day, and so we wanted to do something, especially with something local. That was one of our key goals. And so one of our team members brought up the Fisher House. They had a tie with them, and they help veterans that are going into the VA for maybe a procedure or surgery, and the family can stay at the Fisher House. And so it's a really nice house that's put together for the veterans. And so it's a great opportunity for us to help the local community, and especially the veterans on Veterans Day.
That's awesome. And for more info on the Food and Wine Classic and the Friends of Fisher House, head over to foodandwineclassic.com and the OrlandoFisherHouse.org. Thank you.
Good stuff, Maddie. I've always wanted to check that out, so that is on the must-do list. Well, the holidays are approaching, and it's time to start planning, preparing, and shopping. The toy industry expert Elizabeth Werner joins us with more. Hi, Elizabeth.
Let's jump right in with Furby, a classic toy brought to us by Hasbro. Furby has evolved, but remains a best friend, encouraging our little ones to actually be their authentic selves. Now, we know that cute little faux hawk up there, and the eyes are opening and closing. This has 5 voice-activated modes, over 600 reactions, including light sounds, and 10 unique songs. Now, Santa's kindness ornament and journal, a great new tradition. The world needs more kindness. This is going to allow our little ones to hear directly from Santa. They'll scan the ornament with a phone or tablet, and Santa will magically appear in video messages throughout the month of December. Santa's video messages will encourage acts of kindness and for our little ones to capture all those special moments in their journal. Now, when it comes to play and learning, VTech GoGo Smart Wheels Fast and Friendly Garage. This is a great interactive garage play set. It has a spiral track, a talking race car that's activated when it hits some smart points. Check out the car wash, the convenience store, and the gas station. This is going to help our little ones with their first words. When it comes to math, the Number Block Step Squad Mission Headquarters Hand to Mine. This is amazing. It's going to bring that smash hit from Netflix right into our family room, helping our little ones learn math in a fun way, counting, recounting, sequencing, all those early math skills. Now, when it comes to building, we love our Lego. This is Gabby's Dollhouse. They're going to build this from the ground up. It features iconic moments, characters, and scenes from the hit show on Netflix. They're going to not only love building, but then playing and role-playing in all of the fabulous rooms that are included in here. And it even comes with Gabby, Pandy Paws, Cakey, and Mercat. Now, for more information on all of these great items, head to our website, which is wernerinfo.com.
Elizabeth, thank you. I love going down the toy aisle when I'm at Target or one of those stores.
I still get the big book, and I know somewhere in the deep reaches of my dad's storage facility, there is my Furbies sitting there somewhere. Because I know he threw out my Power Rangers, but my Furbies are in there somewhere, and I want to try to crank them up and see if they just speak in tongues or something. I don't know.
You know those would be worth a fortune if they're original Furbies.
I would think so, and that was such a weird craze. It's so funny how those things come back around.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
You'll find them one of these days.
Yep.
Stay with us. Daily Flash continues in just a moment.
Welcome back to the Daily Flash. I'm Matt Doolittle, and in this week's edition of Doing It, I went back 20 years to my high school reunion last week. Yes, 20 years ago in 2003, I graduated from Lake Howell High School, a 4.2 GPA, top of my class, and as you can imagine, one good-looking, suave son of a gun. Yes, my mom has that still hanging in the living room of their house. Yes, make your jokes now, but that Pontiac hauled my butt. Once the one picture comes up, I had a Pontiac Grand Prix, I had all the baggy clothes. There you go, look at that swag going on. Shiny as always, and yeah, that baby went 160 with the governor off, but don't tell my mom. But I have to tell you, I went into it very nervous. You know, who still had a grudge with me? Who wasn't going to show up that I hoped would? In fact, my first thought was, would anyone in this day and age of Facebook, Instagram, X, and every other way to share anything, would anyone care to see each other after 20 years? I mean, we grew up in 2003 at the beginning of cell phones, Facebook. I got my first phone the sophomore year. You know, I had a Pontiac back then. The internet was just beginning to be used as a utility for school, home, and social interaction. But of course, once we graduated and went our separate ways, most of us lost contact. We didn't reach out to one another. We would hear when someone would get married, have a kid, unfortunately pass away. They'd move around. But that was it. We didn't keep up. Even though it was a suburb of Orlando, which most of us grew up in, we weren't living next to each other. It wasn't one of these small town communities. However, walking in there into the school where we did a tour of it and saw all the old places, the old gym where I broke my wrist and cried a lot, the classrooms where I just didn't want to be at the time, and the cafeteria where we decided who we wanted to sit next to, hit me hard. Even the next night when we all went out to our local watering hole, when we all became old enough to meet up on Thanksgiving Eves, or the night of it was just a night of reconnecting. I felt like I found a hidden VHS of my own life in the future, or rather a DVD at that time, and saw the future. It was very weird. It was very comforting, though, that for the most part, everyone there knew someone else who couldn't make it, and we told stories of our lives over the past 2 decades, talked about their kids, their significant others, their adventures, and most importantly, about themselves. That's who I really wanted to know, who they grew up to be, who I thought they were going to be, And now, as you can imagine, I may have been somewhat of a pot stirrer back in the day.
No.
I could jump from the popular kids to the drama kids, the athletic kids, the super nerds, and had something to say to each of them. And, and I would make each other upset at each other somehow. Why would I do that? So I wasn't sure how I would be received, but honestly, everyone there came in with open arms, and we settled some grudges. I mean, it might be old man yelling at the cloud here, but trust me, what you see online doesn't mean it's in real life. And at this reunion, it all came into that perspective. That we all went through our lives in a very important part of it, but came out the other side okay. And we're okay with each other. So my idea, or my push onto you is do it with your classmates in the future and go to your class reunion if you have the chance.
Oh, very good. I like it. Maddie, thank you. All right, time for our relationship refresh. Fabian Marcano from Daily Flash Latino joins us now for our relationship refresh. What do you have for us this week, Fabian?
I'm so happy to be here again. What's up, man? Good to see you here, buddy. I like to see you, man. Hey, so I was just going to bring up long-distance relationships today. I think you guys might have something good to say. I mean, some argue that they can strengthen a bond, and others believe that they are doomed to fail. Long-distance relationships have been plagued by college students and people relocated for work for ages now, right? And these relationships are seen destined to fail, but are they actually creating stronger bonds than geographically closer relationships? What do you guys think?
I mean, I've been in a couple of them. One was out of state, one was in state, and they were very difficult. I mean, it was nice because you got some space and you didn't feel, but now that I'm in a very good relationship where we live with each other and we're in the same city, it's been a lot nicer because you get to go to events with each other and make sure you're in each other's lives a little more.
Yeah, how about you, Fabian?
I've actually had myself one long-distance relationship. I was in Georgia, she stayed in Florida. So I had this unbalance, I feel, of just, I can't go see her when I want, but I can't also, the work's kind of taken away from the time. So it never added up for me. What about you? Did you have any?
I've had 2 long-distance relationships and both failed miserably.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work. And even sometimes when you're in the same city, I lived in Los Angeles. If you lived in Pasadena and somebody else lived in Malibu, forget it.
It might as well be 2 separate states.
Exactly.
It's 2 hours to see them anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a California guy, but that sounds like a hectic problem right there.
That's a serious long-distance relationship. I think it all depends, too, and I think it's maturity. I think the older you get, you're okay with having that space. But when you're starting out a new relationship, I think you got to be next to one each.
That's a good point. My parents actually, they had to work through a little bit of a long-distance relationship when we started moving out to Florida. My mom was in Puerto Rico for the time, so we kind of had that for at least 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
And they made it work. Look at that. They're still together. They're still living a great life. Hopefully, they're still happy, right?
I had a rule when I got out of my last long distance. I said, an hour radius. An hour drive radius is about all I'm willing to put up with at this point. I'm not going, for our area, I'm not going to Tampa. I'm not going to Miami. Here's your hour radius of trying to date me. When I got on the apps.
That's actually pretty good.
I mean, that was about it. So.
You said in Miami, though. You mentioned Miami.
I did Miami once.
Miami might be the hardest place to have a long-distance relationship.
It's the hardest to have anything, but let alone a relationship.
Nowadays, it's a scary sight.
Yeah.
Fabian, always good to see you.
Thank you guys.
so much.
Of course, thank you
guys. You can
guys.
catch Fabian on Daily Flash Latino. Just head to dailyflashlatino.com to check out your local listings and times. And let us know what you think about long-distance relationships. Head to our website and share your thoughts. We're back right after this.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I'm Matt Doolittle in for Mitch English, who's having some enhancements done. See if you can tell when he gets back.
It's going to kill you.
And also, one of Mitch's, his biggest crush, we've both known him, we've both known him for a while. One of his biggest crushes is Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
His crush since I've known him is Drew Barrymore. Well, she's appeared to be single. She even went on a Howard Stern's show a couple months ago for a dating game.
Really?
Well, she just came out, of course, one of your favorite people, Gwyneth Paltrow's podcast, and said that she's been secretly seeing someone for 3 years.
Oh.
And they just attended a wedding together. And it's nobody of note, but they met on the fancy people dating app Raya. Where you got to be a celebrity or a person of means to even meet up. And they've been secretly seeing each other for 3 years.
Is that so?
Yeah, she kind of said that, she's... it's not nobody's business out there of who I'm dating and everything. But then she went and did a dating game to kind of throw the scent off.
Interesting.
And then now she's dating.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess you
But
gotta
I don't
keep
want
that
any
quiet.
attention on my personal life.
I don't want any attention to my personal life.
Didn't she marry Tom Green?
Yeah, for a minute.
For a minute,
that was that was
right?
in her bad days.
That was a weird. That was always
That was
a
in
weird
the jumping
match.
on Letterman desk and all those
Yeah,
eras.
yeah.
Tom Green's a mess anyway. All right, a 20-year-old software engineer from San Francisco was busy slamming dollaritas at an Applebee's when an earthquake shook the Bay Area, and his reaction has gone viral. Take a look.
I was just slamming some dollaritas up at the Applebee's and with my friends, and it was a big shake. It was only like probably a couple seconds, but it was real. Everyone like stopped talking. Yeah, it was heavy. It was a big one. Yeah.
Steve Mazzari, who looks like Borat had Botox done, was stunned when he learned the earthquake registered as a 3.9, and when the earth stopped moving, Mazzari made a point to turn to the camera and say, "Dollaritas are back." Mazzari's viral stardom has caused his world to turn topsy-turvy. He said he had a good buzz from the drinks when he spoke to a news crew following the earthquake. However, it wasn't until he got home that he realized his liquid courage landed his face on screens everywhere. Mazzari said the reactions have been mostly positive, especially from the ladies who want to meet him. Because he knows he'll take them out for dollaritas.
There's a silver lining there.
Isn't that the main? Like, we had that whole list of places not to go for,
Yes.
for dates, and maybe dollaritas is not where you want to go.
I believe that on that list, Applebee's was up there with Cheesecake Factory and a couple of other options.
Yeah, I mean, if he's chugging Patron, maybe you're like, that's okay, but
maybe some of the ladies like the Applebee's vibe,
Yeah, I mean, I just love the idea that you're sitting there and the whole earth's shaking, and you're like, dollaritas are back, baby.
Hey, you know what? What's going to change your drinking habits,
Nothing.
You might as well have another one if you're having an earthquake, right?
Keep
well,
going.
speaking of weather, the U.S. should expect some drastic weather conditions in the upcoming months as El Nino is expected to be especially strong this year. El Nino, which translates to little boy in Spanish, is caused by a shift in the distribution of warm water in the Pacific Ocean right around the equator. The shift has a big impact on weather patterns around the globe, and this year's El Nino is expected to be one of the strongest since 2015, which saw the warmest U.S. winter on record. The new maps show that during strong El Nino seasons, the northern U.S. is usually drier, while the southern U.S. is typically wetter and snowier. New York City received less than 3 inches of snowfall last winter, a far cry from its average of 25 inches during the winter season. It's Mother Nature. It goes in cycles. Some years it's cooler, some years it's warmer.
And that's what we're looking at now. And I think after just going through this crazy summer like we had in the South here, where it was super hot, and then it's already feeling nice and fall outside. I mean, I've had Christmas days outside where it's shorts and t-shirts down here. So I mean, it kind of goes in cycles like that.
Yeah. Well, back in the 70s, they were talking about an ice age coming. So, and that has been since wiped off the internet altogether. And now it's been nothing but global warming, global warming, global warming.
It's getting hotter. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. It's going to go down.
And a lot of people just say, hey, you know what? It's just Mother Nature.
It's just Mother Nature. Go with it. All right, more trending news and entertainment right here, right after this.
What is KSA Entertainment? It's trending news, entertainment, lifestyle,
KSA Entertainment.
culture, it's love, it's food, it's family, it's life, it's shopping, it's empowerment. KSA Entertainment. It's fitness, it's travel. KSA. It's fun, it's engaging, it's Daily Flash Latino. Life, love, shopping. This is KSA Entertainment.
Back to Daily Flash. As we gather annually to honor their service, it's essential to remember that our veterans warrant appreciation every single day, not just on one occasion. CEO of Fisher House Foundation, Ken Fisher, sheds light on the significance of recognizing and honoring our veterans throughout the year. Here's more.
It's important to not only honor our men and women in uniform on Veterans Day, but also year-round.
Since its founding in 1990, Fisher House Foundation has served 455,000 military families. We are best known for our network of 96 comfort homes where families of wounded, ill, and injured service members and veterans can stay at no cost while their loved one receives treatment far from home.
For more information, visit fisherhouse.org.
In today's Help My Home, we've got some helpful outdoor maintenance tips to keep your house in order. To rake or not to rake? That is the big question. It is the fall season, and if you look outside, you'll likely have leaves blowing around the yard. Do you rake them or do you leave them to decompose? Well, our friends at FamilyHandyman.com recently addressed this issue. According to the experts, they say raking and bagging leaves and leaving them for the landfill is the worst thing you can do. Leaves in landfills take up a ton of space. More than 10% of trash thrown out is yard waste, believe it or not. Instead, they recommend raking them and using them for compost. Many local communities have composting programs, and if you have a manageable layer of leaves, run the lawnmower over them and collect the leftovers. This is an easy way to create your own mulch with dried up trimmings. Leaves can act as a natural fertilizer during the winter months, but remember, only a thin layer, otherwise you might run the risk of smothering your lawn. Well, with all those leaves, you know it's time to check the gutters, right? When your gutters fill up with debris, they can keep the water from draining. As a result, the water can seep into your roof and cause some serious damage from top to bottom. Cleaning out your gutters isn't tough. It takes a couple of hours and shouldn't cost you more than $10. So here's what you're going to need: an extension ladder, a hose with a spray nozzle, a small garden shovel or plastic scoop, some rubber gloves or waterproof work gloves, and a tarp. Also, you want to wear long sleeves and pants for extra protection. Your next step, tarp your work area. Before you start, roll the tarp out directly underneath your work zone. This will help protect the ground below and any landscaping nearby. Now it's time for that debris removal. You can buy a gutter scoop at your local home improvement store. Just use a small garden shovel. Rubber coated is best. Even an old spatula will work to lift out the leaf muck. And finish by rinsing out your gutters. Use your garden hose with a spray nozzle to flush out any remaining debris left in your gutters. And don't forget to rinse out those downspouts. So, should you leave your windows open during the winter months to let the fresh air in? The experts say there is not a one-size-fits-all answer to this. However, the yeses are on your side if you like the idea. Here are some of the year-round benefits. First off, improved air quality. Opening a window can help cycle the flow of air pollutants like odors from cleaning products or food. You've also got humidity control. The dry weather can really take a toll on your skin. The fresh air can cycle some much-needed moisture inside to prevent extreme dryness. And odor removal. Pet and food odors can permeate every single corner of your home. An open window can sometimes work better than an exhaust fan in the kitchen. And just for your mental well-being, with the time change, the early darkness can leave you feeling blue. Letting some fresh air in can help boost your mood. Well, did you know baby oil is considered a powerhouse cleaning product? Much like a popular window or dish cleaner, baby oil can solve some major DIY fixes. Here are the top 5 for household fixes. Squeaky door hinge. Use a couple of drops to fix a squeaky door hinge. You can also use it to lubricate your locks. If a lock seems sticky when you put your key in, you can use WD-40 or a couple of drops of baby oil on either side of your key. You can also use it to remove sticky residue. If a surface has some leftover glue or adhesive, dab of baby oil can help remove it without damaging the surface. You can also use it to moisturize wood because baby oil is 98% mineral oil. You can use it to condition wood. It also helps to unstick those wooden drawers. Some great advice. For more info, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Welcome back to the Daily Flash. Well, KitchenAid is here to remind us makers that the brand is your aid in the kitchen with their new KitchenAid Go Cordless system. Joining us now with more is Dan Pelosi, the meatball making meatballs behind Grossy Pelosi. Dan, why is entertaining during the holidays so stressful?
Listen, I think we all have a lot going on, whether we're hosting ourselves or hosting people ourselves, or we're going to other parties, or if you're like me, you're doing both. So there's just a busier schedule. So I think when we can bring in the tools that we need, like this KitchenAid Go cordless system to help us do things with a little bit less stress in the kitchen, it's just such a dream.
What are your top 4 tips for taking the stress out of the holiday entertaining?
Absolutely. I think number one, you want to empower yourself. So I think you really want to make sure that you're surrounded by all the tools that you need in the kitchen to make things less stressful. For me, it's all about baking cookies. So I'm obsessed with the cordless kitchen vacuum. It allows me to vacuum up flour, sprinkles as I go and keep things running smoothly. I think number 2, you really want to plan ahead. So don't save things for last minute. You want to make lists. You want to do your groceries. And I think any part of a recipe that you can make ahead, like for my Italian fig cookies, you want to take what I do is I love to take the filling, make it in the food chopper ahead of time, and then I have it ready to go when I'm baking cookies. I think number 3 is declutter your space, right? Nothing brings more clutter into a cooking space than cords. We don't all have a ton of outlets. Being able to spread out, being able to take your appliances where you need them, keep things clutter-free and going more smoothly. And then I think number 4, which is my favorite, is let people help, right? So I love to give someone my cordless hand mixer, some frosting, some cookies, some sprinkles, send them over to the kitchen table and say, hey, let's cook, but you be over there and I'll keep things going in the kitchen and we can still chat. And it's just such a dream to be able to do that and to involve people in your holiday cooking. It's a real win-win.
Great tips, and where can we go for more information?
You can head right to KitchenAid.com for everything I talked about today and a lot more.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll have all of that on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Good stuff, Matt. Those cookies look delicious. Well, November marks National Family Caregivers Month, a time to bring attention to the challenges faced by those caring for aging parents. Here's the president of A Place for Mom with some expert advice.
At A Place for Mom, we just issued our new State of Caregiving survey. And what we found is that an overwhelming majority of family caregivers feel emotionally drained and overwhelmed. 82% reported that they felt that they weren't providing adequate care and were making real sacrifices. And 75% said they had to cut back on their work or quit their jobs entirely in order to help an aging parent or loved one. At A Place for Mom, we have expert senior living advisors that are ready to help families throughout the journey, end to end, from home care services to senior living options, all at no cost to families. Visit aplaceformom.com to learn more and access our resources and connect with our local advisors. Caregivers, you are not alone. We are here to help.
Yeah, it really is important to make sure you have that kind of care network, especially if you're an only child like me and you've had some, assistant needs and everything. So it's good to know you have those resources out there.
Yeah, it's tough being that sandwich generation, taking care of yourself and your parents.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's much more trending news and entertainment heading your way, but first let's check in with our friends at the Daily Buzz right here on Daily Flash.
Hi there, I'm Kia Malone, host of the Daily Buzz. Shopping at one of my favorite places to find something for everyone on my holiday list, Dick's Sporting Goods. For the golfer in your life, these tailor-made Stealth 2 Plus drivers are the perfect addition to any golf balls that you may have in those stocking stuffers. Check out this GT Adult Aggressor Pro mountain bike, perfect for the adrenaline junkie in your life, or even this Yeti cooler for a big ticket item gift. Check out this Stanley Quencher. It's perfect for everyone, male, female, kid. Everybody has to stay hydrated, right? And these Hoka sneakers are all the rage on social media right now. And of course, Kalia sold exclusively here. There's tons of quarter zips, yoga mats, as well as exercise bands to keep you looking fit. Save big when you shop early, up to 50% off those hot holiday deals and Black Friday week specials on Nike, Adidas, and more. Go to dicksportinggoods.com for more info.
Retinol has always been considered a magic skincare ingredient because it tackles so many signs of aging, but there's always been a drawback.
Retinol can be very irritating to the skin. You can see redness, irritation, peeling, flaking, skin burning while we're retinizing the skin or getting it used to this new vitamin A derivative.
But a new ingredient is helping change that.
There's a new innovation, though, that I'm really excited about, and it's a newer ingredient that's been incorporated into Elizabeth Arden's new launch of Retinol Plus HPR Water Cream. What's great about this ingredient is it activates retinol receptors in the skin, and it gives you all of the benefits of retinol, but without the reaction. Typically, we recommend retinol to be applied at night because it can increase your sun sensitivity. The fun thing about this new water cream with HPR is that you can apply it both morning and night to accelerate results, but it's so well tolerated.
Go to elizabetharden.com for more info.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, except for all those tasty holiday temptations. While 80% of Americans make an effort to control their eating, only 6% do, and more than half admit food guilt can ruin their holidays. But you can still satisfy your sweet tooth without the side of guilt. The makers of PB2 powdered peanut butter and nut butters have new, better-for-you options that are full of flavor minus any artificial ingredients. The PB2 pantry mixes are a quick and easy way to whip up delicious and nutritious treats, including chocolate chip cookies, chocolate brownies, and apple cinnamon muffins. The star is the PB2's roasted peanut flour, a clean plant protein that delivers between 4 and 14 grams of protein per serving. The mixes are 100% gluten-free, vegan, kosher, contain no GMOs, and they come in resealable packaging for multiple uses. You can find them at Walmart, Kroger, Amazon, or online at shop.pb2foods.com. Happy guilt-free holidays!
For veterans who turn to the VA for health care, it's important to understand that Medicare can complement those benefits.
The Department of Veterans Affairs recommends that our veterans do enroll in Medicare if they're eligible. If that veteran ever wants to be able to go outside of the VA system and see a provider or a doctor outside of the VA, then they're probably going to want to have a different plan.
Humana has teamed up with USAA to help meet more veterans' unique needs with honor plans and more.
We know that the veteran suicide rate is 57% higher than the national average. And so we've launched what we're calling Face the Fight. It's a coalition to help raise awareness of veteran suicide and to really help break the stigma of actually asking for help. And there are resources on that website, wefacethefight.org, that could be helpful for anyone who may be struggling.
And visit humana.com/Medicare/veterans for more info.
Follow The Daily Buzz on social media.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. Before we head into the weekend, we like to give you our picks for streaming for the weekend. Here's where we tell you something you gotta check out on your streaming services. Matt, what's your pick this weekend?
I mean, it's no one's surprise. My pick this week is a look behind the magic at the Disney parks with Behind the Attractions Season 2.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
It probably is the ride that inspired me to be an Imagineer. Welcome to Disneyland, where the food's as fabulous as the fun.
Nobody knew what the red stuff is, and it became one of the most successful desserts.
What's a Disney spectacular without fireworks?
The desire was to give a kiss goodnight.
Plus, original series Behind the Attraction gives you a look at some of the most iconic rides of the Disney parks, including Pirates of the Caribbean, Big Thunder Mountain, Railway, Epcot, and they even get into the food, which is amazing. And so far I've watched the Pirates one. I didn't stream all of them, and I watched the Big Thunder Mountain. And having just ridden the one in Disneyland Paris, I didn't know they started the park by building Big Thunder around it first, unlike the other ones where they shoved it in. And then I didn't know I went under a big lake to go into the ride and out. And I was like, oh, I had no idea about that.
I had no idea this happened.
So I learned something.
I saw that on my menu, so I definitely will check that out now that you've mentioned it.
Yeah, it's insane. The Imagineering going into everything, and they do it in a fun way, so it's not too nerdy.
Do you like seeing the behind-the-scenes
I
stuff?
do.
Does it take the magic away?
I worked there, so all the magic went out a long time ago.
So you're not bothered by it. Well, my pick for the week is the new Paramount Plus documentary, Milli Vanilli.
Okay, it's one song. You do that and you're out. We're not saying no to this powerful producer.
Money, money, money makes the world go round.
This is run like a tight military operation. It's on a need-to-know basis.
I ain't keeping my mouth shut for nobody.
They don't want us to sing. What? This is weird. We don't want to lip sync.
Someone had to have known this was going on. We were seduced, we were abused, and we're happy that it's over.
Well, it is considered music's biggest scandal to date. Milli Vanilli, the pop duo behind, featuring Rob Pilatus and Fabrice Morvan. It chronicles the rise and devastating fall on the heavy hitters behind the crash who took the money and left the pair on their own to deal with the critics. It ultimately cost Rob Pilatus his life. Wow. It is a fascinating look, and it is tragic to see what happened when people just sort of left them to fend for themselves.
So much I didn't even know about that.
Well, that does it for us, everybody. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Be good. We'll see you next time.
Peace and love.